I'm ready to speak out on simulation theory. Now, simulation theory is the idea that we are living in a simulation, that the world that we live in is not the real world, but it's just a simulation that somehow we are hallucinating, much like being cocooned inside the Matrix while we all live out our lives. Now, when I look out over the buildings I'm seeing, the hills that I see in the distance, I have no idea what is going on inside of each one of these buildings, or even what the inside looks like. On the other side of that hill over there, how do I know that that hill is not just a prop, and that, like the flat earthers, that if I just go far enough into the distance, eventually there's going to be a gigantic cliff and I will just fall off the edge of the earth. Okay, for all that my mind can directly perceive, that could be true. I don't know what is beyond that hillside. I don't know what is inside that building. All these people walking down the street, are they real people or are they NPCs, non-player characters? So I've been alive long enough and I've talked to enough people and I've hiked long enough across enough horizons and I've been in enough buildings to know that in every building I go in, there is an infinity there. There are things there. There's a world going on there. There's a hill on the other side of that hill, and there are plants there, or dirt, or maybe something I didn't expect. And all these NPCs I'm passing on the street, I've talked to enough people, some of them very deeply, to know that each one of them has a real, rich inner life with drama and trauma and struggle and success and joys and ways they regulate their emotions and relationships and ways they make meaning of the world. Okay, we're not living in a simulation. Okay, but, and this is a big but, for all intents and purposes, it could be a simulation. Okay, because as I drive down the street, and as I look at all of these buildings, each one of which is an infinity, and as I look off into the horizon, which is also an infinity, for all intents and purposes, my brain is accepting the substitute, what I perceive as a building, or what I perceive as that landscape across the horizon. I accept that as an infinity in my brain. I cannot map and I cannot directly perceive every infinity. And so my brain, and we're all doing this all the time, it just paints all that as a blind spot. It assumes that I don't have to know what's inside that building. For all I know, what's going on inside that building, there could be one of the most powerful people in the world making some business deal. There could be a terrorist cell in there. There could be just two old people who are just living out their sunset years. Who knows? And every one of those is a story. But my brain can't tell every story, and it can't discern every infinity. It can't go over every hillside. It can't explore the complex backstory of every non-player character that I pass in my life. It can't. It can't do it. And so what does my brain do? It fills in the gaps. It assumes that either it knows or it doesn't need to know all that stuff. And so my experience of reality, my experience of the world is very similar to a simulation because of the way that my brain encapsulates in containers and in neat little stories that don't drive me insane, encapsulates the infinities that are everywhere around me, both across time, both across space, and both within each person that I meet. Every one of them is an infinity, and yet my brain has to set up a finite world in which to make meaning and in which to base my life decisions on. That is how simulation theory, that's what it means to me. That's what it should mean. That's how it can be useful in understanding how we parse our worlds and how we navigate our worlds and how we navigate this world that we all live in together.